Hello everyone, this is Karen Kent. Today we are recording. This recording is regarding accounts receivable module. We already activated the receivable module in lesson 17. Now we're moving forward, and what we're doing is we're posting the opening balances. Just like an accounts payable, we're going to be doing this in AR. We're doing an accounts receivable. So when you're opening up when you're posting an opening balance, again, it will be done in the AR transaction. Under AR transaction, we have a invoice batch. If you want to do one entry, it's an invoice entry. If you want to do a one receipt, it'll be go under the receipt entry. If you're doing a batch, it will be under the receipt batch list. And we are also have there's another one, adjustment batch list and adjustment batch entry. If you're doing one adjustment, then it will go under the adjustment entry. If you're doing more than one adjustment, it will go under the adjustment batch. The first one we're going to do is we're going to do it in the opening balance, and we're going to do it under the invoice batch. We're going to double click it, and bottom we have a click on new. What we're going to do is we're opening up a new batch. We're creating a new batch. And the title of the new batch will be opening balances. So opening balances, when are we doing it? We're doing it on 31/01/2021. So everything is done in 2021 in this. But if you're using the book uses 23. So in this one, I'm using the date 2021. And what we're going to do is, in this case, this is our entry number 1, and what we wanted to do is under the entry 1, it is an item. It's a entry number 1, and it is a summary. That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to do a summary. In this case, what we're doing when we're doing a summary, the name of the customer. In this case, the name of the customer is Union Electrica, and December 2022 opening balance. I'm not feeling well, but I'm still trying to record it for those who are waiting patiently for my videos. Balance. So that's what we're doing. And the customer number, you could do a finder. We already created the customers before. In this case, if you don't remember the number, you're going to pick the customer that you are doing posting the opening balance. In this case, we have a ship to location. If it's there where we're doing it, you could be doing it to Brantford or Mississauga. In this case, we're going to click on Brantford. So that's that's where we shipped it to. And then what we're going to do is select the invoice, and then what we need to do is when was this invoice done. In this case, the invoice was done previous year, and then what we're going to do is in the previous year, and it is on the 15th. That's what we're going to do it for. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tab it over, and then it says we say yes, because we're doing it entries for the previous year. That's what we wanted to do. And then then what we're going to do is we are going to we're going to put the document number. In this case, you could look for the document number, or we could type the document number. In this case, it says new. What we're going to do is we're going to type. If it says new, we're going to type, because we already know what invoice number that we charge. We're going to leave the PO number blank. We're going to leave the order number blank, and we're going to leave the shipment number blank. And then what we're going to go to the first detail line, and then we're going to click on the finder. Just like the accounts payable, we're having an electrical sale. Then we tab it over, and the amount is $34.50, and the amount is $34.50. We tab it because print the comments. And then what we're going to do is if you go beside it, now we have done what we needed to do for the the amount. Now we're going to go to the next tab. Our next tab is taxes. In this case, click. So we're still trying to do the first invoice. I don't know what was recorded and what wasn't recorded. I'm just going to repeat what I was doing. In this case, we entered the amount and we're going to say no to the print comments. And then what we're going to do is we're going to click on the account. On the bottom, we have a tab called account tax button. We're going to click on that. Once we click on that, what it does is it shows us that it displays the taxes amount. In this case, the tax base is $34.50, and what we have is we have the taxes on that. That is $448, and what we wanted to do is this is just to show you. And then if you look at it, the total taxes are $448. So that's once we done that, we wanted to see it how much taxes is on this invoice. So what we're going to do is in this case, we're going to close that. We're going to go to the tax, and now what we're going to do is then what we have is the tax tab, and this shows you the same thing, and we have a total tax amount of 400. And what we're going to do is we're going to double click on the tax amount, and what we're going to do is make it 0. So what we want to do is we wanted to make it So we wanted to make this option to be not available, and we wanted to make it 0, because the reason why we're doing this is we already charged the taxes in the last year when we did the taxes. All we're doing now is putting in the opening balance. So you have to take the calculate tax button out in order for you to make the taxes to be 0, because we're not going to charge the taxes. So that's the only way it's going to let you do that. And then if I go to distribute taxes, that will it will come up, it will remove the taxes from there. So you have to do that. And then if I go to the document now, I shouldn't have any amount out. If you look at it, I shouldn't have any amount out. So then we're going to go to the terms. The terms of the invoice was net 30. Originally was net 30. So what we're going to do is we're going to accept the defaults for this customer. Optional field, when you think of an optional field, what we're going to do is if you double click it, if there's nothing there, we don't need to, we can make it blank. Sales split is already there. We have 2 salespeople, we're giving them 50-50, they're splitting 50-50. We're going to accept it. Then we're going to go to the totals, and this total we have $34.50. We don't have any taxes, there's nothing due. So what we did is now we wanted to go back. You wanted to make sure that your account balances. In this case, once you do that, you add it. That's your first entry. Now you're going to go to your next one. What you're going to do is you're going to on page on exercise 18.1, what you're going to do is you're going to enter all the other opening balances. That's what you're going to do. So let's do the second one. You're going to click on the summary. Once you click on the summary, who is it for? In this case, it is John James. And what we are doing for John James, we're entering the opening balance. We're entering the opening balance. The name of the customer, we needed to find it. In this case, it is 1100. We're going to select it, and the ship to location, if it's given to you, fine. If it's not doesn't come up, then we leave it blank. When this was last year, and it was on the last year on the 18th. So we're going to enter it on the 18th, and we tab it over, and we select the warning, and then from the document number, it is given to us, it is 1001, and we leave the PO number alone, order number alone, and we leave the shipment alone. Now we're going to go to here on line 1. We're going to go to line 1. Sorry, I'm just trying to find. If it doesn't go to the middle, you're going to go and press the insert button, and you wanted to enter the line 1. So double click on it, and in this case the distribution code is elect, so we already done it. Tab it over, and the amount is 3200. We are going to tab it over. Now if you look at the account button, this is just to check what the amount button is. In this case it's 3200. There is no taxes, so we are okay. So let's go back and see. There is no HST amount. The HST amounts are 0. So we have done this. We're gonna now I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna close this. Then I'm gonna go to my taxes. You're gonna go here. You have to have the calculate tax button off, and then what we wanted to do is we wanted to make it 0, and I wanted to say distributed. So we wanted to do distributed means total taxes should be 0. I go to the terms, I leave it blank. I go to the optional field, and optional field is blank, and then I go to my totals. There is no HST amount, which we know that. Let's go to the first one. We wanted to make sure there is no outstanding balances. Now I added, that was number 2. Now we are going to go to my third entry, and third entry is for your Lang Machinery December opening balance. And then in this case, who's your customer? You're going to look for Lang Machinery. It is 1120, and it's for an invoice, and we want to know if there's shipping address. There's no shipping address. This invoice was done also last year on December 2022, so December 21. So we're going to select it. So once you select it, you tab it over, accept the warning. The document number is the new, and in this case is 1002. We are going to tab it over, and then it should go to your line. If it doesn't go, then you can insert then use the insert button. In this case, it will be your MACH. We click on it, select, and then what with the amount here we're entering is 7786.55, and then the comment is we're going to leave it blank. In this case, we are going to go to account and taxes, and then in this case there's nothing there. We know that. So what we're going to do is, if I were to press the tax button, I say calculated, I'm going to make it a 0, and then what we're going to do is select on the distribute tax button. Term is, in this case we needed to change the term, and the term is 60. So if you don't want to do it there, in this case it is 60. In this case the 60 we did add it. So now what we needed to do is we needed to create that term. In this case we are going to create that term. If you look at it, we're going to get a message saying that this term code is not there. So we know that it's not there because when we did the finder, it wasn't there. So what we're going to do is, what you could do is minimize the screen here, and we are going to go to the you are going to go to your setup. Under the setup, you're going to go to the terms. Once you do the terms, sometimes if another window is open, it doesn't let you do that, but let's see if we get it. In this case it's 660, and then it is term is net 60. So in this case 100% due in 60 days. So it's 100% is due in 60 days. There's no discount, and we add it and we close it. Now I open the window again. This is where I was. Now I'm going to go to the finder. I'm going to look for the 60. Now it is already there. So what I did was minimize the screen, went into my setup, and then created the 60 for that. The option field, we're going to leave it blank because we don't have any. Then we're going to go to the split, sales split. We know Jamie Smith is the salesperson. It's 100%. We have no HST. There's no other amounts that are due. So we're going to go to the first screen. Always go to the first screen, and I'm going to add it. Now I'm going to go to the fourth one, and fourth one, who is the person here? In this case, it's BC Electric. And what we're going to do is we're entering the December opening balance. And then the customer, we're going to find it. It's a BC Electric. We selected the shipment. If it is there, you have to select it. If it's not there, you leave it blank. Now it's an invoice. When this invoice was created last year on the 22nd, you go back and then you tab it over, accept the date. The document number here is 1003. We tab it over to the first line. In this case, you are gonna go to your distribution code, and then it's a ELECT, and the amount here is 1713.26, and then the comment will be no. If I click on the account button, in this case we have two GSTs. The tax group is a BC, we know that. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to, we close that, we go to our taxes, and if you look at it, there's two type of taxes. We're going to take the calculate button out, and then what we're going to do is you're going to make that 0 and make this 0 and distribute it, because we wanted to click the distribute button. These are only done for the opening balances. If you have an invoice that you're doing, you have to keep it as a calculate. I'm going to go to the first, the terms. In this case, the terms of is 30, which is already there. And the sales split is Amanda Bishop. And I'm going to go to my first line. And after I do the first line, I'm going to add it. I wanted to make sure there's no mistakes, because then it makes complicated when you are trying to fix your error badges. So in this case, it is National Electric. And then it is for December opening balance. Opening balance, who is the customer? In this case, the customer is National Electric. And then what shipment is, if it's there, you select it. If it's not there, you leave it blank. When was the date? The date was last month, and we go back to the 21st. That's what the date is, sorry. The 21st. We tab it over, we say yes, and then what you're going to do is the document number, it is given to us, it is 1140. So you select, and then what we're going to do is you're going to go to the distribution. When you do a distribution, and you're going to look for electrical sales, we select it and you tab it over. The amount here is 2260. And then when we do the accounts and taxes, if you look at it, there's no amount, but we are going to close it. But we wanted to go to my taxes. And if I do a taxes, it shows an amount. I have to take the calculator button out, and then I make that a 0. The amount should be 0. And then I say distributed, and then go to the terms are net 30. The salespeople are 2 people. In this case, it's a JS and AB, but if you look at it, it's not JS. In this case, I'm allowed to change it. I'm going to change it to the JS, because that's what the Jamie Smith is. In this case, they both are 50-50. So in this case, I will change this to 50. I will change this to 50, because they both share 50-50. So that's what you're going to do. They both share a 50-50. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the next one. And next one is I'm going to add it. Again, it is summary. You have to enter 11 of them. So I know we're going to be here for a while, and I am going to try to do it quicker as possible. But if you want to do it faster, you could do it faster. Seems like I have two of them, but that's all right. So I have two customers, which is okay. When I could have one inactive, one is active. So in this case, it's an invoice. We look at the invoice. You could have a debit memo, credit memo, or interest. In this case, it is an invoice, and we're doing it for December 22nd. So that's the last year. Tab it over, and you accept yes. And then the invoice number is 1005. What we wanted to do is tab it over. We have electric, and the amount here is your 3629. And then we go to the taxes, and we're going to take that out, and I'm going to make this a 0. This is 0. And then we distribute the taxes. We go to the terms. Terms are 30, goes to the sales split, and this sales split is only Amanda that we're doing it. So I'm going to delete first. I deleted it. Now I'm going to select Amanda. So in this case, it will be Amanda AB, and she is getting 100% of the percentage. So I will go to the total. Look at it, there's no taxes here because we're entering the total amount. I go to the first one and I add it. Now I'm going to go to the next one. In this case, I add the summary. We have US and what we're looking for is when was the invoice done. Again, last month. Click on the calendar and select the date. So we go over, select that. The invoice number is 111006. We tab it over to go to the line 1, and then it is for the other department. Double click it, and that's for machinery sales. So we do that, and I tab it over, and the amount of the sale is 6833.19, and then the comments are no. We go to the taxes. It's a US taxes, and in this case, the amount for the US is automatically as 0. We click on the distribute. I go to my terms. Terms are installment. I leave it the way it is. Go to the next one. Whoever is the salesperson. In this case, Casey isn't there, so I could change that one to JS, and that JS is for 50%. And then I go to my next one. If it doesn't go to the next one, you know that you have to do an insert button. So I go to the insert button and I press the AB, which is Amanda, and then Amanda is getting the other 50%. There's no taxes. Make sure that we go to the total, and what we want to do is we wanted to add it here. So we have added it here. So I'm going to going to go to the next one, and that's a summary, and that is Johnson and Sons. Who is the customer? We're going to look for Johnson and Sons. Select it, and then here your document number will be 855. I'm sorry, I got the cold, and it seems like it. I can hardly talk. So we're going to go to which distribution code we're charging it to, electric, and tab it over to go to your amount, and under the amount you're going to put the invoice amount. In this case it is 6852. And I'm going to go tab it to the tax. I'm going to take the calculate button out, and then once we do that, I take this 0, click on the distribute button, go to the term. The term is, in this case, term is 30. The split is for AB 100%. We have done everything. If I go to the total, there shouldn't be any taxes. So I go to the first, I add it. Now going to the, in this case, we get a message says the credit limit for this customer is okay. Is this, in other words, it's giving us a warning that the limit for this person is only 5,000, and that you still want to do this, and we wanted to say yes. In other words, sometimes we don't want to sell somebody if their credit limit is over, but we already sold them before, so we don't need to worry about that part at this point. And then next one we have to do is the next customer, which is Smith and Family, and we're entering December, and we're entering the OB balance. The customer is Smith and Family. We selected, and then it's an invoice, and we wanted to in this case the date is last month, and it is for the 4th. We tab it over, we accept it, tab it over to go in the description on line 1, and then you're going to enter which distribution code it is for electric sales. We select it and we tab it over, and in this case the amount is for $2,000. And then what we want to do is we go to the taxes, we take the calculate amount out, we make that a 0, click on the distribute, and then go to the term. In this case, the term is 30, and the sales split is Amanda for and I didn't enter the document code, which was your 890. So what I'm going to do is we're going to add it, and we're going to go ahead and do 10 and 11. In this case, this is a customer, and the customer is Jason Limited. We select it, and in this case it's an invoice, and when was the date? The date is December 12th, which is the last month. So December 12th, we tab it over, we say yes, and then the document number here is 1230. No, the document number, sorry, is 962. Tab it over, and it is for which division is it? Is for electric. I say select, tab it over, and the amount is 4,300. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the taxes and take away the calculate the taxes, make this a 0, and we distribute the taxes. And what you want to do is go to the terms are 30, and then go to the stocks sales split, and that is 100. I go to the total. I wanted to make sure my entry balances. I come back to the document and I add it. Now I'm going to go and do the 11th. This will be your summary, and in this case you have a Browns Tone Limited, no ink, and it is December, and it says OB balance, opening balance. That's what we are entering. And who is the customer? And in this case is a Brownstown. So now because I have 2 of them, I'm only going to use the one that is active. So what happens is sometimes we can make a mistake. It does happen. You can create duplicate. If that happens, you needed to make one inactive, so it doesn't print on any of your invoices, so or any of your AR ledgers. So it is for December 14. We select the yes, and tab it over. The invoice number is 1240. And that is for which distribution code? It is electric, so we're going to select it there, and the amount here is going to be 10350, and we are going to say no to the print the comments. We go to the taxes. You're going to calculate here, and then the tax amount is here. So we make it 0, distribute it, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the terms. The terms are 30, which is already there. Stock split is for Amanda, 100%. Total, there shouldn't be any taxes. Now come back here. Now, if you look at it here, you wanted the system to account for the taxes. In this case, you shouldn't have any. So in this case, because we're just entering the opening balances. Now we're continuing entering the opening balances. We're almost there, not quite, but almost there. But we just have a little bit more to do. So once we've done that, then it makes it a little bit more doable. So I'm gonna add it. So in this case that we already exceed the credit limit, we say okay. We know that summary, and then next one is it's John James, and it is opening balance. And the number, you're going to look for the customer, Mr. John James. We select it, and the invoice date is, in this case, is this year on the 3rd. So we're going to select this year 3rd. So that's what we are going to do. And this is, we're entering the January balance. But it's still an opening balance, but we're entering in the month of January. So what the invoice number, we already created the invoice for this person. In this case, we're going to make the document number is your invoice number. We go to the line 1, and then we select the distribution code, which is your electric. We tab it over. The amount here is 395.50. 395.50. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the taxes. The tax group is Ontario, and we take the calculate button out, take it 0, we distribute it, we go to the terms are 30, we go to the split, and the split is we change the name of the salesperson. In this case, we wanted to add Casey to this account, and in this case, you tab it over to select that. I go to the total, there's no taxes. That's what we want because this is an opening balance. So what we do is I'm going to add it. I'm going to go to the 13. So let's go to the 13 summary, BC Electric. Balance, and the customer, we find it, and it is your BC Electric. And then what we're going to go to is invoice, and this is the date on this month on the 4th. This month on the 4th. So what the invoice number is 1008. We tab it over, and then we look for it, which distribution code is. You're going to find it, and then you're going to look for ELEC. So let's tab it over, and then when we go to the amount, it is 2380. I go to my taxes. In this case, it's a BC. We take that out, but you have to take both of them, both the tax amounts out, because we already done the distribute. Then I go to my terms. Terms are 30. I go to split. It is split between two people. In this case, they both are different people. And that first one is Casey. I select it. That is your 50%. Then I go to my next one. If it doesn't go, you have to hit the insert button. In that case, you're going to enter JS. So let's do JS. We select it and we go forward, and that is going to be 50. So once we done that, go to the totals. There's no taxes, so we go to the first one, and what we're going to do is we're going to add it. So now what we're going to go, we're going to go to the 14. We have a summary, and then who is this for? US Metal. I'm sorry, my voice is not as good as I want it to be. I am trying my best, so that I hope you are. I hope you excuse me for not speaking clearly. We have a US customer. As name of the customer is US Metal. I select it. In this case, we have a date on that invoice that is this month's 15th. So I'm going to select the 15th. I tab it over. Once I tab it over, I have an invoice number that is 109, and my distribution code is for machinery. I select that, and then I go forward, and my amount is 3058. And then what we have is we are going to go to the taxes. We take that out, and there is no US taxes. You can also do the distribute. It doesn't need to be done. 30 is your we wanted to change this to 30, so let's change that to 30. We select it and then go to the stock split, and it is KC. We are okay with it. There's no taxes. Come back to the first one and add it. So now we're going to go to the 15, and that's a summary, and it is for Lang Machinery. $11.20, and what we wanted to do is it is for this month, and it is on the 30th. So that's this month of the 30th, and the invoice number is 1010. And we go to the first line and we look for machinery sales. The sales was for machinery. We select it, we tab it over, and the amount is 11,939.58. We go to the taxes and we take that out and we make it 0. Distribute the taxes. Go to the terms. The terms are installment. I change it to the installment. So select it, automatically calculates it. I go to stock split. Here is JC. We're giving 25%. No, sorry, yeah, you could do the 20. It doesn't matter which one is the first one, which one is the second one, as long they equal to 100%. The next one is we have is AB. AB, where the split here is 50, the sales split. And the next one we have a KC, and KC split is 25. So as long they equal to 100, that's what we have to do. So now what we're going to do is we are going to go to the total to make sure, and then we go to the next one. So we are left with hopefully 2 more here before we could kind of finish what we are doing here. So what I'm going to do is, this was a 15, I added. Now I am going, this is also exceed the limit. Yes, we know that. Now we're going to go to your 16, and it is for Lang Machinery. The name of the is the Lang Machinery, and it is recurring transaction. That is your in this case, in this what is your customer number? We have to find it, and it's Lang Machinery, and that's the one. And then we ship is there. We have an invoice number, and when is the date? The date is this month's 31st. So that's what we are doing. And then in this case, the invoice number is 1011. And then we go to our line 1, and we add the distribution code. It is for my electric sales. We tab it over. The amount is 17,226.85. And then we go to the taxes. The taxes in Ontario, we know that, but we needed to take the tax amount. We distribute the tax, and what we wanted to do is we go to the terms. The term is 60 here. We change the term to 60. And once we add the term, we go to split, and that is we're changing the name, and that name is we are changing it to AB. In this case, we select it as 100%. Our totals are 0. I come back to the document, and what I want to do is I wanted to add it. So what I did was we were going to add it. So in this case, they are saying it the credit limit exceeds. Of course, we know that we are going to accept that warning, and we're going to go to our number 17. And when you do number next one is a summary. The description is National Electric, and it is for recurring entry. And then we look for the customer. Our customer is National Electric. And we have a invoice number here, which is your 11/31. In this case, we could change this to the posting date too if you want to. In this case, it's 30, but it's in the same month, so it's not a big difference here. So that will be your 11/50. We tab it over to go to the first line. In this case, we select the distribution code, and that is your electric. So we select it, we tab it over, and then the amount here is 21838.38. We go to the taxes and we take that out. It is for the BC. No, in this case, we are changing the tax group for this person, and this person, it is not a BC, it is for Ontario. We select it. You have changed the tax group to verify it. I said close it. So they're just giving you a warning. So we had we changing it to Ontario. They're asking you, are you sure you want to do this? And we said yes, because it is Ontario. Sometimes we could be that we would be making a mistake too, because when we enter the people, the customers, we could have made a mistake. In this case, it will be 60. We do the 60, and then what we're going to do is split. The split here should be the first one is a salesperson is my Casey, and that's 100% for this person. If it's 100%, I needed to delete the next one. So what I could do is you want to delete the person? Yes, we want to delete it. Now I go to the total, make sure there is no taxes, so I add it. Now we might get a warning again, of course. So click on close. We know that. So now what we have is we have entered everything. If you look at it, if I enter the zoom button, you will see the same message that appears on number 56. It tells you that we have 17 entries, and it's an AR, and the 109.21231 is your entry in this case. So we're going to close this, and what we wanted to do is we wanted to now you could view the batch, and in order for you to view the batch, what you're going to do is you're going to click on close, and this is the batch that we did. In this case, it's an opening balance. We did 17 entries, and this is the total amount that will be displayed. Now going forward, now what we could do is we wanted to print the batch. How do we print the batch? You highlight this, and then at the bottom you could do a print button. If you click on the print button, and once you do print button, and then you have a choice of are you printing the invoices, receipts, adjustments, or refund? And in this case, what we are doing is we wanted to print the invoices. It's automatically there because the system knows that that's what we are doing. The date is 31st to the 31st, and what we're going to do is accept the rest as a default. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on print. Now, before you do that, I'm going to close it here because I did not make my print destination to preview. So I'm going to close this first. I'm going to come back and do that. I'm going to double click on the preview because I should done that before. Now I'm going to go back to my entry, and I'm going to come here and I'm going to click on the print, and I'm going to redo this, and it prints it. Now it's going to generate a report. We wanted to make sure that we're doing everything the way we're supposed to. So in this case, this is our batch 1. So this is what the entries we did. It's a batch 1. If you look at it, it has more than one account. So that's what more than one accounts that are coming up. So that's what it is. So these are all, I have 9 pages of it. I'm going to close it. We don't need to print all of them. We already printed it. System knows that I printed. Now what we wanted to do is we wanted to click on the post. So we wanted to post it. So in this case, if I highlight it and I say post it, you're going to get a batch is not set ready to post. So what we have to do is we needed to make it ready, and then before we post it. So what I wanted to do is I said you wanted to post this batch. I wanted to say yes, it will make it ready and will post all the entries in this case. So now it says one batch is completed, GL transactions are completed. We click on close, and then what we wanted to do is now we wanted to post what we wanted to go into the posting journal. So in this case, I am going to close this, and when you're going to the in other words, it is on the transaction report. What we wanted to do is we wanted to go to the posting journal. So in this case, where we're going to go, we're going to go here, and that's what we want you to do is to go to the print. When you're doing a posting journal, this is where you're going to be you're going to be going. So in this case, that's where the posting journal is. If you already printed it before, what we could do is we could reprint the printed journals, reprint previously printed journals. We could do that. And what we wanted to do is if we're going to accept the invoice, and what we're going to want to do is we want to view the report here. So let's click on the print. So this is the similar one we did before. So if you look at it, it should be sort of 9 pages of it, which we know 8-9 pages. So these are all there. So this should be all there. So in this case, if you look at it, you have a US customer, you have a Canadian customers. These are my sales. So you have a debits and credits. So this is the summary, and last page is the summary. The page before is all your journal entries. So what we're going to do is we're going to close this. Once we close it, we come back and close the invoice batch and the posting journal batch. So we want to come back to this. Now where we wanted to do is we wanted to come back into our GL module, and what we wanted to do is we wanted to delete the batch in the GL because that's the opening balance. We don't want to do it 2 times. So if I come back to the batch list, if you look at it, it should be there. The AR for the opening balance is here now. So if you look at it, this is my opening balance that we just did. In this case, it is 17 of them. If I wanted to double click it, if you look at it, double click it, it shows you that it is an opening balance, and I did that. We have a debits and credit for each one. So in this case, it's a sub ledger, and it is for the opening balances. We know that it is for the opening balance. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to is that we wanted to delete this batch. So this is the batch we wanted to highlight, and what we want to do is we wanted to delete it because we don't want to post it if it was a we wanted to delete it. If you look at it, we did the same thing when we did it in the AP. All the opening balances batches, we needed to delete them. In this case, OMR data AR, and that's the batch that we needed to delete. And what we wanted to do is we highlight that batch, make sure you're highlighting the one has 17 entries. This is the one. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to say delete. When they say delete, the system will ask you, are you sure you want to delete it? And we wanted to make sure that we're deleting it. And then what we say is we wanted to say yes, batch will be deleted. The batch will be deleted. So the batch is deleted. So now what we're going to do is now we are going to close this window. Once we close this window, we are going to go to our next is exercise 18.8 is asking you to view the tax tracking report. Tax tracking report is under the tax services. Under the tax services, we are going to go to the tax report. That's where you're going to be going into the taxes. So in this case, we are going to go to the tax report. Under the tax report, we're going to do the tax tracking report. You're going to double click on that. Once you do that, and we wanted to know, select which one we wanted to do. So in this case, we're going to select it. So in this case, we're going to select which one we are going to leave it, and then it is sales. And if I click on the print button, and then print button, it should show me the taxes on each of our GSTs. We have a BCPST, you have a GST, we have a HST, we have a US taxes. And then if you notice, the tax amounts are 0. So the reason why is that amount is 0, because we already did the taxes before. Now what we're doing is we are just entering the invoices. So what we're going to do is we are going to close this, and then so what we're going to do is we are going to close this, and the next one, the author wants you to clear the tax tracking report. That's what we want you to clear, the tax tracking report, and that is done under the tax periodic processing. So let's look for under let's go to tax periodic report, product processing. What we wanted to do is we wanted to clear it. So how do I clear it? By double clicking the clear history. When you do that, what we want to do is we wanted to system to clear everything what we have done, because we're going to accept all the defaults. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on the sales. We're going to click on the check box for the sales. And what we wanted to do, we wanted to clear everything that the taxes that relates to the sales. So what we're going to do is we're going to process, and this is the tax tracking information for the specific transaction types will be cleared for that range. And we wanted to say yes, and then once we say yes, and then you'll get a message that it is done. So in this case, we are going to close it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a transferring amount between the accounts and the GL accounts. So how do we do that? In this case, when we are doing that, we have to go into my GL transaction folder in my GL. So this is where you're going to be going. So that's where we are going to be creating an entry. We're not creating a batch, we're creating a journal entry. So you're going to double click on the journal entry. You let the system do its entry. We double click it, and then we're going to click on this to click the new one. We have a lot of transactions before, so that's okay. Now where the batch field is, it comes at the name of it. So the name of it, we have a transfer between accounts receivable accounts. Account, and this is my first entry, and what we wanted to do is we wanted to, the description of the entry is we wanted to transfer from the Canadian accounts to the US accounts. So let's say that transfer from AR to AR and US account. And then we accept the date that we have it, and we are going to go to the finder, and then what we're going to look for is the GL. So it's a journal entry we're doing. In this case, you're going to select and you're going to find the code for GL. And what we're going to do is we're going to select it, and we're going to say quick, and under the line, then we wanted to do is, in this case, our reference number will be, we wanted to do is the, so we go to the line 1, and then in my line 1, if I were to do this, we are going to do type, I'm going to reference, I'm going to type 1101, and when you tab it, the description will be, we could display it. If sometimes it comes up and sometimes it doesn't come up. And then in this case, the account field, we are, sorry, the 1101, the reference is 1101. We select it and tab it over. It's accounts receivable US will come up. And the reference, the reference is what we are trying to do. In this case, the reference reference isn't given to us, so we can bypass the reference. We don't need to enter anything if there's nothing is available to us. In this case, the debit amount is 9891.19, and then what we're going to go to the next line, because we wanted to do the credit. If it doesn't go to the next line, you could press the insert button, and then you go tab it over to the account and find your first one, which is your 1100. 1100, let's do that. That is your select and the account, and that is, we are going to do a credit balance to that. So we have a debit balance and we have a credit balance, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a credit. So what we're doing is transferring from the US accounts to from the Canadian account to the US account. So that's what you're doing, is transferring to the US account from my Canadian account. So what we're going to do is you tab it over. Once you tab it over, if you have to do it all the way in order for your debits and credits to balance. Once we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to add it. We're going to add this, and once you add it, you have to process this batch. What you're going to do is, in order to process this batch, we have to go is to see it. Let's go back and see it. What we're going to do is we are going to close this batch. We wanted to make sure what we did is correct. Now we close it, and what we're going to do is we are going to come back and we're going to post that that entry we just did with the transfer entry. In other words, when you do that, you have to print it and then you have to post it. In this case, I'm going to print it. I'm going to say print, and then we'll say print. I'm sorry. And we only did it, we transferred from one account to another account. We did that, we printed it. I'm going to close it, and what we're going to do is we are going to when you post it, it's saying the system, the batch isn't ready to post. What I wanted to make it ready and post it, and I'm done with that. Now, before we enter our current year's session, current year's date, what we wanted to do is now we wanted to double click by checking the balance, that to make sure everything is right. How you're going to do that? You close it and you're going to go into my GL account, and then under the account that we have a history inquiry. So that's what we are going to do. Double click on it. You're looking at the account. What account am I looking for? I'm looking for 1100. You tab it over. When you see it, tab it over, we should have a balance here. In this case, 1100 balance, and now there will be a change amount. So there should be a change amount from one to another if we did everything correctly. So it could be that sometimes we do make a mistake when we're entering it, but don't worry about it as long as you have done what you needed to do, because our amounts will be different than what we had before. I just wanted to see what is for my next one, 1101. Because the reason why ours is going to be different is that we didn't put it in the budgets. But if you look at it, our notice there's a change in this account, so that there's changes, but we didn't do a budget. If you're trying to do it from the perspective of the book, we didn't have the budgets. We didn't do the budget chapter, so there won't be anything, but we don't need to worry about that part. So let's go, and now what we're going to do is we're going to change the session date. What I want to do is you could back up your data if you for the session date. I am going to do that. I'm going to go to the desktop, and I am going to make another folder for lesson number 18, and it is, I wanted to call it part 1. And then what I wanted to do is I want to dump the files in there. Of course, when I'm dumping the file, I have to go to my administrative services. I dump the file, double click it. You have to tell where you dump it. I'm going to dump it into my double click, and I wanted my new folder. I didn't name it. In this case, I'm going to put in my new folder, and I'm going to say dump, say okay, and then close. And I'm also going to do my system, and it's in the new folder, and I'm going to dump that too, and we're going to say okay. And we say close, and we do close. Now, if I wanted to change the session date to February 28th, how am I going to do that? What I'm going to do is I'm going to close this company, and if I close it, and I'm going to reopen this company, and then I am going to change the date on that. The date will be it is a month, date, month, and the year, and I'm going to say okay. So now everything should be there. My accounts receivable and everything is there. Now what we're going to do is, this is for my current year invoices. So this is my current year's invoices. They will be done in the invoices, and I wanted to create an invoice entry. So let's create an invoice entry. So in this case, we are going to click on the invoice entry. Once we do that, in this case, it is we're going to click on new, and this is, we already had one before. In this case, we wanted to call it invoices, and we're doing it for the month of February 15, 2023. That's what we are going to do. In this case, we are going to leave, now we're doing the invoice, we're going to leave it as an item. That's what we wanted to do, it leave it as an item. The date will be this month's February 15th, and what we're going to do is we have to enter the following information. So the description will be who's our customer. In this case, it is National Electrical is my customer. And the 1013, and what we need, the customer is, we wanted to call it 1140. That's select, and it's a electrical national. So that's what it is, and it's an invoice, we know that, and in this case the document number is 1013. The date is, we want it to be this month's February the 2nd. Tab it over. We're going to leave it, and now I'm going to go to the first line, and then what we're going to do is under the item number we are going to click on it and what we are selling them. In this case we're selling them 1070, and that's the fixture, so we're going to select that. Now we're going to go to each, and then what we're going to go to the quantity, and then under the quantity we're going to type how many items we sold them. We sold them 50, and we select the 50. The cost is $7.50. In this case, we're going to go to the next item. So this is the first item we sold, 2 units, not 1 unit. So that's why my number wasn't going, and I was trying to figure out why my number wasn't working. So in this case, if I go back to the first line and I see to calculate the taxes, you will see the $37.50. If I go to the close it and I go to the next line, it will only show me the taxes for that line, only for that line. So what we're going to do is we're going to close it. Now I want to come back to the taxes. If I come back to the taxes, the amount, the tax, the document total is your if you look at it, your total is 4670 is my taxes. I go to my terms. My terms, the terms are number 2. If you pay within 10 days, you get the discount, 10% discount. I go to my total. If you look at it, we have 934 was my document amount, $46.70 was my taxes, and my discount is $18.68. If I pay within the 10 days, the amount will be $99.62. 0.02. So what we want to do is I wanted to come back to the first page and I wanted to add it. So I'm going to get a message saying that credit check is required. We exceed the limit, which is okay. I'm going to accept the warning. And what we wanted to do is now if I wanted to go back to the previous, it will give me entry number 1. If I go forward, it will give me the entry number 2. What I can do is I can print it if I wanted to do, but in this case I don't want to print if I need it to be necessary. So I don't want to print anything. Now all I wanted to do is I wanted to enter the following invoices. There's quite a few invoices that we needed to add. So what we're going to do is we're going to enter the invoices. Once we enter the invoices, then we're going to make prepayments. After we make the prepayments, and then what we wanted to do is we were to print the invoices, and we wanted to do recurring transaction. In this case, I'm going to stop here. I am this video, I'm going to stop it here, and I'm going to start with a new video that will be just for the invoices, entering the invoices further. If you look, before I go, if you wanted to print any invoice, if I were to print this invoice, I will select on the print, and then you could print it. It'll print a report. So that's what it would do. In a real life, we will have this is, if you look at it, it's an Omni, and we print it and we send it to our our customers, and that's what we want to do. We print the reports and we send it to our customers. So I am stopping my recording here, and I will pick up my recording from creating the invoices again, and then I will show you how to do how to receive prepayments and how to post it. So before you do that, you have to dump your files. Again, you're going to dump your files. I'm going to dump it in my 18. So let's dump it in my 18, the new folder that I created. I'm going to dump it and say okay, and then close it. Then I'm going to go to my OmniSys and I'm going to dump those files, and that's where we're going to pick up next for this. So we want to dump it. Okay, we close it. Now I'm done for most of the lecture is done for the 18. Most of the lesson is done. The only part is left is invoices. I showed you how to create the invoices. You can go ahead and create the other invoices, but I will be recording another video for that. Thank you so much for listening. Take care and bye for now.